Good afternoon. We're here again to do another interview with a individual that's been involved with the sport of ball hockey in Edmonton for a number of years. So let's go ahead and find out who we're speaking with today. What's your name and where are you from?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. My name's Roop Baweja, and I'm living presently out in British Columbia. Was very fortunate to play majority of my ball hockey in Edmonton, Alberta.
So you were living in Edmonton when you started with the league. Can you tell me some of your early memories of playing any unorganized or any kind of street hockey that brought you into the sport?
Yeah, it would be no different than anybody else. It was playing in on the old asphalt roads with your Titan TPS hockey stick and probably running out the bottom of it, playing with a tennis ball and learning how to stop a tennis ball, or dead of winter playing outside, sliding using your runners, and yeah, just the average thing of playing ball hockey all year round kind of thing. And growing up, I got a lot of chance to just come home, and I was telling my wife the other day, just used to enjoy coming home and shooting on an empty net. It was just all about just getting better at myself and enjoying the game 100%, because I played a little bit of ice, and when ice was done, it was soccer was the thing you did in summer. But I wanted to keep playing hockey, so just continue to play it all year round.
So with that being said, did you play any other organized sports before you became involved in organized ball hockey, like any specific type of sport or number of sports?
Yeah, played a lot of soccer. So that was it. Was summertime was soccer. Ice hockey was the winter game, and then eventually it was I wanted to play hockey all the time, and that's what kind of drove the summers, was to play ball hockey with your neighbors and your friends and pull out the hockey nets, and of course always pull them away when the car kind of slid by, just like those Canadian Tire commercials and everything else. It was real life, and I think back then, yeah, we would kind of do our own commentary as we'd go down. It was a little weird to do, but just the love of the game was to just always play. It was just what made time go by.
Can I ask you, how did you join the ball hockey team that you first played in, or the ball hockey league you first played in? Was it some friends that brought you on board? Did you answer an ad to a newspaper, or were you invited by someone?
So I don't recall how exactly I found out about it, and I was actually the one that made the team. So I went out and got some sponsors. I went and got some friends that we played ball hockey with. It was just street ball hockey guys. I never had played organized in the sense you had to wear a helmet, because on the road you didn't. If you had gloves, you played with it. The goalies usually didn't have full on equipment, but we did make a team. I got some sponsorship, and I'm gonna say back then I think our team was the Red Wings, and I played junior hockey, and um, playing at the arenas like Tipton and Grand Trunk, uh, and yeah, just started in the juniors. It was a junior program in Edmonton that I think there was only 6 teams at the time, or 5 teams at the time for our age category. We couldn't play in the men's league at the time, so.
So you were technically a manager of the team, and you put together a bunch of individuals. And let me ask you this: what gave you that? What gave you that inspiration to put together a ball hockey team? Did you think it would even go anywhere, or what was your idea when you first got started? What really brought you into that?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it was just because we just wanted to play and play against other players. I mean, there was only so many people you could continue to play around your neighborhood and stuff, and not understanding the total. To be very honest, I don't even think we knew the total rules of the floating blue line and the red line and stuff like that. So joining and then learning the game as we played. I don't even think we did really that well, Cal, to be honest. It was a bunch of guys playing street hockey, and all of a sudden we're in a rink playing with rules and referees and helmets and gloves. And so it was a learning experience, but it was just something that we wanted to do. I think we really just wanted to play against other people.
I think you're the first interviewee. I think that said that truthfully, in a sense, in the way that you said, well, all of a sudden we found ourselves in a ring. And that's really what happens to a lot of players. They come off the street, go into a rink, and they suddenly have a referee with an actual armband on his thing that can
and the ball seems to travel a lot faster.
All right. Well, then let me ask you this: how old were you when you played your first season, and were the players on the team the same age as you?
believe we were 16, 17 at the time. And yeah, everyone was around the same age. I think we might have had the odd person maybe a year younger. If you were 18, you had to play in the men's league. So we were all 16, 17 years old at that age. And I think it was only the 1 year we played in that juniors, because then by then we had to move up.
Okay, so you moved up into the men's division. Did you move up as a team, or did you disperse out into different teams? And when you got onto those teams, were you playing with players of the same age, or did you find yourself involved playing with players that were older?
I think a bunch of us we actually got picked up by other teams. I think there was a culmination of players that just recognized us from playing in the juniors the 1 year. I think about 3 or 4 of my teammates went on to another team. And then, of course, you were playing against people who were very much older, very much more structured in the game. So it was, for myself, it gave me a perspective of really learning the game. You know, we say ice hockey. Well, I played ice. I understood the ice. But to literally say learn the game, it was a new game. And though it had the backgrounds of ice hockey, it was a new game for me.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the first men's team that you played with? And can you remember any of the other names of teams that you were involved with as the years went on?
I do remember teams that I played with over the years, because I'd played every division, Cal. I was very fortunate. I started in a low division, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It was a progression for me to play in every division. By the time I had kind of moved up into those divisions, it was basically just getting drafted by other teams until a couple of years into it became more about playing with some friends again. So I do give credit to a bunch of, I was a student of the game. We mentioned some names earlier. I'd finish a game and then want to watch the guys that were in the higher divisions just to better myself. And guys that we mentioned, like, Kevin Sturzer and, Doug McCarthy, Malcolm Stinson, Rod Suberwell. Those are the guys that I kind of watched and learned the game of ball hockey from, because they were so much ahead of my times. Mike Symes, a bunch of members from the Nordiques, the Westars. So for me, it was always wanting to learn. We may have played a game earlier and then we knew Division 2 or 3 or 1 was going to play, and we'd want to sit around with a bunch of friends and watch those games. So it wasn't now like where you finish a game and you're up in the bar having a couple of beers and going home. But back in the days, there was no bars. It was, you finished a game and you watched the other teams play.
Well, I like that you gave that perspective of progressing through the divisions. Not everyone goes in that order. Some of us kind of go up and then go down and then don't come back up to the higher divisions. But nonetheless, let me ask you this question. In comparison with other organized sports that you may have played, what was your impression of the ball hockey organizations that you were involved with? What did you feel they were run like?
I'm going to be very honest with this one as well. It's just I think it came down to I love the game. And so it didn't matter what my other sports were. You paid your money, you showed up at the rink, you knew you had a game, you had a time, you had referees. It was as best run as you could. Yes, there's always going to be things that are going to get better. I.e., the soccer centers had 4 rinks. Back then, you either traveled to Santa Rosa or you went to Grand Trunk or Kenilworth or wherever, and you played in these rinks that were dark. But the fondest memories are those rinks. It wasn't the soccer center with the nets. It was the Tipton Arena with the roof was only 15 feet high at best, and you couldn't raise the ball to a certain level. Or so it was very, very structurally well run with the guys. And I can remember the 2 names that came to my mind were Steve Posovic and Jeff Romaine, because those were the guys. Jeff Romaine was running the junior league when I first very much joined. So yeah, we were, again, just young kids putting our pennies together and wanting to play organized ball hockey.
You mentioned earlier that you managed the team that you first entered with in the junior league. Were you involved in the sport in any other way, like such as referee or coach or any other type of level?
Not one bit. And managing it back then was basically just collected the team fees and made arrangements to get the numbers and the jerseys. There was no management. I was a 17-year-old kid that just wanted to play organized ball hockey.
I have a question in regards to you mentioning that you went through different divisions. For our viewers here that are watching, I just want to try to understand, let them understand that divisions doesn't necessarily mean different tier levels of play. What was the highest tier level of ball hockey you played? Typically, tier one is classified as only Division One, whereas tier two and the other tiers were multiple divisions in the lower levels. Which was your highest level you ever played?
I played tier one. I played up in tier one with the Westars for a bit. I played a bunch of games with them, the Snipers. So I did play tier one. I played tier two, and you're right, tier two had multiple divisions. But like I said, I must have played every division, and you nailed it on the head. You go through those divisions when you're younger, you get up at the top. By the time you start coming down in your career, not only are you not coming back up, but you're also playing different positions. You become that slower defenseman. You're the one that's kind of letting the younger guys go on the second shift. And yeah, it was just always again, just a learning experience of enjoying the game.
You nailed it on the head there with respect to that. Yes, you had to either be a utility player or you wouldn't be playing at all. Let me ask you a question in regards to your achievements and accomplishments. And as far as there's two types of questions I'm going to have here: your personal achievement and team achievement. Did you play in any provincial, regional, or national tournaments on teams? And if so, what were some of the levels of play that you personally attained yourself, like in that regards?
So tier one, I did play. I played provincially, got a gold. I basically was picked up by the Westars and got a gold medal there. Bunch of other medals with the Dirty Birds, some bronzes and silvers in tier two. Nationally, I represented our province, so unfortunately was not successful in getting anything there, and also was able to represent Canada as a club team with the Dirty Birds in what is it now, 2013, so 9 years ago, out in Prague. So that was it's probably one of my highlights, just to be able to wear that Canadian jersey and play hockey in another country.
That is great experience. Not many individuals from Edmonton that can actually attest to being able to play at a world championship at any level. There's also a level now recognized as a Masters, which is not a higher level or caliber of play. It's more or less designed for those players that are in their later years of play. Did you play in Masters, or did you get involved in it?
I did actually get contacted to play. Dampy Brar in Calgary contacted me a while back and asked me to play in the Masters. And to be honest, at that time, I'd just moved to BC. It wasn't feasible for me to attend, given my circumstances at the time, financially and just, overall, I'd kind of had slowed down, but I was very honored to at least been asked to play within, kind of for your own self-recognition. It was one of those things to be recognized at that level by other people in other cities and within the provinces and so forth. So I am ever grateful for being asked, but I humbly declined at that time to play for the Masters.
Do you have a particular favorite memory of ball hockey that really sticks out, or a number of memories that really stick out?
Oh, there's the team accomplishments are always going to stick out. I mean, winning as a team, winning that provincial gold with the Westars. I think the reason that one sticks out for me so much, Cal, is that I was a lot younger, and I was playing, and I'd be very honest saying I was playing with men. These guys were big, they were strong. Could they shoot? Could they do everything? And I was just very, very fortunate that Rod Soberwell had asked me to play, and I will forever be grateful for him to recognize that I had the ability to play at the game at that level. So I owe a lot to him to give me that and boosting my confidence enough to continue to play. I played with the Dirty Birds, so Bobby Cantero, who was their GM at the time, brought me on after I'd played so many other teams and leagues or divisions that I basically wanted to play with a bunch of friends, and it was more about playing with friends. Eventually, at first it was the accomplishments of playing to win, and then it became more about playing with your friends and having a good time, and having to, again, provincials, playing with them, and having to go to Prague, represent Canada was an accomplishment. Individually, yeah, it's always nice to say you score the points, but those points come with your teammates, right? At the end of the day, it is a team sport. So I was very fortunate to play with guys like the Snipers and Doug and Dave and Gully and all of those guys and Baba and just a great bunch of guys as well. Good. Justin Kidd, great hockey players, just really, really welcoming to the locker room, and had a lot of fun there too as well, and accomplishments of winning there. Nighthawks. There was another one of provincials with Nighthawks, and played with some really good hockey players who've gone on to play bigger and better. And then as you get older, like myself, I took an opportunity to play in a little bit of lower divisions and then try to coach and mentor some young kids that were coming up. Being East Indian, there wasn't a lot of us that played back in the day. Like I said, I could probably kind of hound on a hand of how many played. And prior to my time, it was just two. It was Raj and Amin Subberwal, right? And from there, it was myself and some of my friends that we came along. And then, there was a university team of the Blitzkrieg who joined, and there was a lot of them. So the game has evolved for our ethnicity. East Indians take naturally to it. I don't know if it's because we have weak ankles and we don't like ice hockey as much, but I jest with that because I think the game has grown tremendously, both male and female side of the game. So it's just nice to see the game grow.
Are you involved in the sport of ball hockey any longer? Or do you do anything like that? And if so, would you ever want to be involved again if you had the opportunity?
I moved to BC at the age of 45, and I came out and here played a little bit. And you know what? I couldn't afford to get hurt with work, and came home with the old sore back. My back was stiff, and my wife says, "Yeah, it's time to hang them up." So, yeah, I've kind of gave it up at the age of 46. But I would easily say I started at the age of 17. So played a long time. I'm no Malcolm Stinson. I give the man credit, and Dougie and them for playing as long as they can. My knees did take a pounding. But yeah, you know what? Proud to play that long. And even when I joined the police force out in Edmonton, I took probably my prime off. I took about 5-6 years off, which I regret, because at that time I was misunderstood that if you got hurt at playing hockey, you weren't going to be covered for work, and I couldn't do that, as my dad was battling cancer and I was a sole provider at home. So I took basically 5 years of my prime hockey off and then came back.
Wow, very good personal story. Thanks for that perspective. Do you have any family members that are involved in the sport of hockey? In any family?
I'd love to say my kid. He did my little guy. He did play a couple of years. He took after dad here and came out to BC, and he was able to win a city championship out here. But he's had some physical disabilities where he's had some spinal surgery, so he's no longer running and doesn't play. But it was a very proud moment for me to see him even score a goal. So yeah, I'm very proud of my younger one. He's not into sports. He's not an athletic kid that way. He doesn't enjoy the game. Get his Xbox is in the room with my jerseys hanging, and a bunch of Oiler memorabilia and stuff like that. And he'll know who Wayne Gretzky is or Connor McDavid, but I don't think he doesn't value the game, right? My older one does a little bit. And so we'll watch a bunch of games here and there, and I've tried to get him out to go see a few of the Canucks games. No, we're not Canucks fans, but we just wait till the Oilers come into town. But yeah, it's that's a soft spot for me, because I would have loved to have seen my boy continue to play the game and play ice hockey, and he did after he had his first surgery at 4 months. So it was nice to see him even put on skates.
What advice would you give to someone that wants to play the sport of ball hockey?
What advice? I would just, like, if they don't have any team, Cal, or they just want to play, or
let's look at it the perspective that they've never played the sport before, but they're interested in playing for the very first time. They've never played it at any level, or even any ice hockey for that matter. Let's just put it that way. They've never even known the sport, but they want to get involved in it because they saw it and like it.
Oh, I would tell them to just pick up a stick and go. There's no other way than just to do it, right? Is to actually pick up a stick and go. And no matter what level of their abilities, I would guarantee put their name forward, or reach out to the league, or see if there's camps, see whatever they can do to get involved in the game, because I don't think this game is ever going anywhere. If anything, it's grown. I mean, you look like worldwide. I mean, if they've got world nationals for it, and going back to one of those highlights, to play a game in Prague and have 3,000 fans in a stadium, and that's pretty big. We're lucky to have the 50 people that may be left over waiting for the bar to open up to go have a beer, but to have people cheering on, whether it be family members or whatever, to watch the game is incredible. So I don't know other than to say pick up a stick and go find the best way you can to enjoy the game. And if they do really want to play it, they'll find a way to find someone to help coach them or mentor them along to somewhere.
Is there a person, if they were here right now, that you would want to thank, and how would you thank them for getting you involved in ball hockey or in helping you with ball hockey?
There's too many names. There's too many names. First of all, I'd probably like to thank my mom and dad for getting me that hockey net eventually that allowed me to sit outside on the driveway and continue to shoot forever instead of having nothing to shoot at. I think one of the biggest people I would credit is Raj Sabharwal. And the reason I say Raj was he gave me an opportunity. He truly gave me an opportunity. I think he saw that I could play the game, gave me an opportunity. And it started from just like, hey, we're going to go play this other team at the ACT Center in Edmonton. Why don't you come out and play with us? And I totally took that opportunity. I played on his team with some really good hockey players, again, a lot older than me. And I think from there, I think Raj just continued to see that I could play the game and then said, you know what, I want you to come out and play with us in provincials. I think so. That opportunity was just very humbling. And it wasn't that I couldn't play. It was just that somebody else saw that I could play. So that was he's probably one of the biggest people and then you do have other people like the Justin Kiggs and the David Museys and those guys that you emulate when you watch them and they were playing in different divisions. And not last but least, my own teammates. I had some great teammates in Craig Dikorsky and Jas Lull and our goalie and Valverde and a bunch of other players who just absolutely made it fun because there was a friendship tied to the game. We had more laughs about our games and our desire to play and win. It was really, really fun to just think about going to hockey. Like we kind of lived hockey. Like you were at school and you knew you had a game and it was about hockey that game, or you went to post-secondary, whether it be university or NAIT, and we were already thinking of the game that night and who we were playing and dissecting who and how we were going to cover them and just the love of the game.
What do you see or hope to see for the future of ball hockey?
Well, I think from my perspective as an East Indian kid growing up, not having a lot of people play it, I think the game has grown so much that it's incredible to see the talent level within our community. I think it's really good. I had a chance to play with Sonny and Tony Brar and when they were first starting out, and a bunch of other young kids. And so, by then I was a lot older, but you know what? They gave me my place as a mentor for them. So to see those kids kind of go on and play nationals and Division I and win the gold and all that is it's very, very great to see for the growth of the game. But yeah, I don't know how much more we could expand it. You'd probably be better to kind of speak to which level. I mean, we've gotten how many levels and kids now younger. I got to coach 1 year for young kids when my younger one played. So it was right at the soccer centers. I forgot that. Look at how much time's gone by. So, to see little kids playing it. There was no organized hockey when we played or ball hockey that way. It was only ice. To see that girls leagues, mixed leagues. Johnny Grant's another one of those pioneers that continues to love and live the game out in Edmonton, and you see him posting continuously. And there was another league that I think I played 1 year where they just did it. It was a winter league. And it was just like tournament play, and it was 3-on-3 or 4-on-4. It was just constantly year round playing the game.
Well, thank you for your time. Rupi, I appreciate it. You've given us a really great perspective on it. You've got quite the highlighted history there of playing in multiple levels and accomplishments that could be certainly very honorable to mention there. We hope to hear from you again. Any other stories you want to share with us right now? Anything else you would like to share?
No, just very again humbled and touched that you reached out, Cal. It kind of sparked some memories, some great memories. I'm sure I'll have some tonight when we disengage here, and I'll probably be thinking of a bunch of them. And if should something kind of highlight my mind, I'll just send you a message. But to anybody that's going to watch these videos or take the moment to watch them, I hope they enjoy the game just as much as I've enjoyed the game of playing it for so many years. And hopefully they build those memories and have time of their lives with their friends and stuff like that, because time goes by too fast, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Take care. Awesome.